Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Black Ops 4 video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 simple tips, but these are tips that will improve your game almost instantly if you are to implement these tips that I talk about today into your gameplay. Some of them do take practice, but out of these 5 tips, the majority of them are stuff that you just have to hear and actually implement into your gameplay, and it will make you a much better player at Black Ops 4. This video, some of the tips are simple, some of them are more advanced, but I'm going to try to go in depth as I can and make this a helpful video for you guys. This gameplay here is with the Demon 3XB. I actually had a gameplay where I went 67-1 on this map with the same gun, and then I had this game as well where I went 67-2. So you can see that playstyle and playing and understanding a map, a game mode, and a weapon can come together. And you know, if I'm going 67-2 and 67-1, and I believe they were back-to-back games, I don't know, this was kind of a while ago, I thought this was good gameplay to give some tips over. So if you guys could smack a like on this thing, I would very much appreciate that. Let's go for 1,500 likes. That would be absolutely amazing. I would very much appreciate it. It takes a millisecond to hit that like button, and it means the world to me. Also, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed. And an interesting thing here is that I was rocking, Drone Squad, which works absolutely amazing. A lot of people roast me for running Thresher. I think Thresher is good on certain maps, and Drone Squad I haven't used a Prestige Unlock token on yet, so that's why, like, even sometimes when I'd like to use it, I still keep on other stuff. But I really do like that streak. As long as they don't shoot it down fast, it could be a monster. So let's get right into these tips. Drop a like, subscribe, and let's get into it. Now, the first tip is a very simple one. We're going to start off simple. What I wrote down here in my notes is don't put yourself at a disadvantage. Best guns, best classes. When it comes down to these weapons, they all have unique recoil patterns, unique sprint out time, or they don't all have unique sprint out times, but different attachments available for them, possible different sprint out times, different ADS times, completely different weapons. And what I mean by don't put yourself at a disadvantage is by running a weaker AR or a weaker SMG against a lot of people who are running Maddox, SOG 9mm, and Spitfires, the top stuff, you're basically just putting yourself at a statistical disadvantage, which if you were to compare this to a sport, which wouldn't be the best reference, why would, but it works for this case, why would you put yourself at a purposeful disadvantage? Why would you, pick the players with the worst stats when you're making your fantasy team? You want to pick the best players, and think of the guns as things that can, players on your team or whatever, your gun attachment. If you think of those all as like players for your team, that can really be a way where you can design an ultimate class setup and everything. Use the best guns and the best class setups. If you don't know what they are, there's not too much excuse considering I make a bunch of videos. I think I've covered almost all of the main guns on class setups. I've done top 5 guns after patches, top 5 best class setups. I just did quite a few of them like a week ago to cover after all the updates. So make sure you guys check that out. Don't put yourself at a disadvantage. You'll see me using all sorts of different weapons, and a lot of weapons in this game are really good. There's like 10 or 15 weapons you can do very good with, but there's certain ones you just want to avoid, and I think it would be purposely more like don't use the worst weapons in the game. Use the ones that give you the statistical advantage. And of course, I'm a YouTuber, so I'm gonna use all sorts of weapons, but if I was tryharding and money was on the line like professional players do, and I reference this all the time, they always use the Maddox and the SOG, occasionally the ICR and Search, but the Maddox and the SOG and Respawn, and that's because those are the best guns and those are the best statistically, so that's why they all use them. There is an aspect of personal preference, but I think too many people have one good game with the gun and are like, that's the best gun in the game, don't tell me anything different. No, you're wrong, scump, that's the best gun, when in reality, you judging off the stats and your personal preference and other people's opinions, we can kind of form a consensus of the meta. My next tip here is Gungho. This one's just a quick one, very quick. Gungho on every single class setup. Gungho is such an overpowered perk in this game, and the perk balance is so bad in this game. Most of it, a lot of the balance is good. That is one thing that's really bad. Gungho is literally banned from competitive Call of Duty, like completely gone, because everyone was going to use it. It was so damn strong, but it's not banned in casual matches. And just like another thing, don't put yourself at a disadvantage. Gungho gives you a lot of different things, but the main thing around it is that your sprint out time, the time to get your gun up after sprint, can be increased by like 25 to 60% depending on the weapon class, and different stuff like that. Gungho is just the way to go. Plus, being able to shoot while you sprint, being able to reload, run at full speed while reloading, it's just the best perk too. Just use it on every class. Trust me. Something like this, change it. If you're running like lightweight right now in every class, which was decent when the game first came out, but once we found the meta, it's all about Gungho. Gungho, every single class, perk 2. You will notice instant improvement in your gameplay, I promise you. Next is going to be Gamemode Maps. Now this one is a little bit more of a complicated one that you have to actually put time in more, but this is about game modes and maps, learning spawns, and understanding routes and playstyle. So if you see a YouTuber's this video, if you're watching a gameplay and listening to a commentary, first thing is you want to play similar game modes and similar maps over and over. Now, the map you can't really control, but the game mode you can. If you watch, my channel, sure, I played a variety of game modes. I probably uploaded a TDM and, some other game modes as well. But the majority of the time, I'm playing Domination because that is the game mode where, for example, Summit Dom, I've been playing this since BO1. I know the spawns, it's not too hard. I know the routes that work the best, and that's why I sort of have seniority on this map, I guess you could say, and a good advantage when it comes down to that. But you have to stick to the same couple of game modes so you can understand each map and how you like to play them. I know that on Summit, and I'm going to give away a little bit of my strategy here, I don't usually play that right walkway side over down here. I play that top control, bottom control, middle B area because I find that's the best way to move in and out of stuff. And I also pick the weapon for the game mode and the map. The game mode is Domination, the map is Summit. I'm not going to pick an Auger or a Swordfish here. I'm going to go with the Demon 3XB or a super good SMG. And learning spawns, if you don't know the spawns are unique on each map, but they're also unique on each game mode. So it's not like you can just play Summit TDM and then hop into a Summit Dom. You'll have no idea how the flow of the game, you have a tiny idea, but not the biggest idea how the flow of the game is going to go or different things like that. Game mode / maps. When you're Domination is one of the easier ones because it's simple. Look, we have C, we have B, they have A. They're probably going to be at A. And just watching when you're analyzing, when you're watching my gameplays or the YouTubers' gameplays, and when you're playing as well, you can sort of learn and judge off my movements. For example, right now I'm hovering around A because I think they're still going to be spawning there. And of course, I did turn out to be correct. There was one more person spawning there, and also just paying attention to the mini map. And I'm telling you, if you lock in, find your favorite game mode, play that over and over and over, you will notice pretty quick improvements because you'll understand the flow. You understand, hey, whenever I try to fight someone from this angle to that angle, I lose 90% of the time. I'm not going to post up on that head glitch. Stuff like that. My next thing here is gear. Gear is a very important choice, and I think a lot of people just, first of all, big misconception. I don't know if people still think this, but I'm sure people do, and it is kind of confusing. At first, a ton of people were confused, but you don't need the stim shot to heal yourself. The stim shot just makes it so you can heal yourself faster. It's quicker to use. Your bar of health goes up quicker, and you can also shoot your weapon while healing. If you run any of these other gears, you can still manually stab yourself or whatever and heal yourself, right? Inject yourself or however it works. But when it comes down to gear, I think it's a very important choice, and I think it comes down to three of them: stim shot, acoustic, and comsec. And for this one, it really depends on your goal. If you want to go for big streaks and you're rocking big streaks, I think comsec is by far the best for that, just because it brings those big streaks down by like 2 or 3 kills, which is a major key. If you want to rush or you have a good weapon for hip firing, I mean, it's clear, stim shot. If you're all about gun kills and rushing, stim shot is going to be the way to go. And acoustic sensor can, after the nerf, it's not, I would say it's not as strong as those first two maybe. I don't know, I don't use it as much anymore. When people use dead silence, it does counter it a decent amount. When they don't use dead silence, it is pretty nice. I think acoustic sensor is good to have. Like I said, if people are trying to learn maps or stuff, that can be something helpful, but understand, don't just throw on stim shot and just jump into the game. Understand, why am I running stim shot, and play to that. If you have stim shot, you gotta rush or you're just wasting that gear. If you have comsec, you gotta convert on your streaks or you're just wasting that gear, right? Next, and this is my final tip here, these are all ones, like I said, that learning and understanding maps might take some practice, but the majority of the stuff you can listen here and implement into your gameplay immediately, and it should make you better at the game right away. Choose gunfights and maintain streaks for more kills. Now, if you're 1 or 2 kills off of your big 3 kill streaks, it's worth it to camp. It doesn't matter if it takes you 30 seconds or a minute to get those extra 2 kills, because once you get those streaks are going to get you 15, 20 kills or something, right? So it really doesn't matter as much. I like to do the strat where I base it off, I run 3 big kill streaks, and I play just normal, whatever, chill, aggressive, however I want to play. If it's firing range, I might sit back with an AR. If it's summon, I might run all the way in there. But when I get close to those streaks, I'm backing up and I'm playing the angles and the corners nicely, and I'm making sure I'm converting on those streaks. And then once I do, the streaks are up in the air, distraction, I'm pushing in, blah blah blah, hopefully trying to stack those streaks. Choosing gunfights is a key here, because you could do this in other CODs with 100 health, where if you take a gunfight and it's looking bad for you, they get the first shot, you're missing a bunch of shots, their weapon is better for the fight, whatever reason it is, they have full-on body armor, who knows, you want to duck out or disengage. Now that was harder when there was only 100 health. Now that there's 150 health, it's definitely a lot easier to duck out of fights like that, and to understand, and that's why this all comes with like playing and understanding maps, knowing which angles have the best which head glitches to different lines of sight have the best angles and can give you the best camera angle to get that shot off first on the enemy. Even though it's 150 health, getting the shot first on an enemy is still huge in this game, and if they get the shot first on you, you can slide away or duck around under a corner, but of course you have to stay near cover, because this isn't Fortnite. You can't just build walls. Much like Blackout, how I gave the tip to stay around natural cover, same thing in actual multiplayer. Move from head glitch to head glitch, play aggressively while also staying around cover so you can get out if you get overrun or different stuff like that. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys could smack a like, I'd very, very much appreciate that. I went through some of the most simple but good tips that will actually help you guys out. I know I've said some of these before, but these are really good tips, and that's why. And I'll throw in a bonus tip here at the end. Aim down sights around corners. If you think there's enemies around the corner, if there's even a 20% chance, 10% chance there's going to be a guy right around that corner, aim down sights. So many casual players just run around with their gun up. Hey mom, I'm coming up for dinner. Hip fire, hip fire. Oh, what's that? Oh, my friend's texting me. If you can just aim down sights and boom, 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 you can, it is a Twitch shooter. If you get that shot off first, that's an advantage. Even with 150 health, it still does matter a good amount. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. Check out some of my other vids, and I'll see you guys next one. I'm out. Peace.